Okay, everyone, let's do another video. This is reviewing again first semester for IM3. And we're basically going to do, it looks like 3 problems here. 4, actually. Before we get started, let's do a quick review, okay? Remember, if I just have something on the form y equals mx plus b, we all recognize that's going to be a line, right? It's either going to go up with positive slope, it's going to go down with negative slope, most likely. But now that you're in IM2, you learned a lot about quadratics, x squareds. And what you learned about x squareds, hopefully, is when it's positive, it opens up. If I give you a negative x squared of some sort, it opens down. And the one thing I want you to understand about this is this actually works for any even power. So an x4 will look very similar to an x2. X6 likewise. Any even power you see, the left and the right sides of the graph, because of the even power, it's always going to make negatives squared or whatever, an even amount of negatives become positive. That's why it always opens up. The only way to get it opening down again is actually make it a negative even powered function. Okay? And likewise, what about an x cubed? Well, x cubed always looks like this, where the right side of it goes up and the left side of it goes down. And this again is the same thing as what an x5, a x7, or any odd function, you see, is going to guarantee the positives stay positives and the negatives stay negative. And the only way to flip that around again is if I do a y equals x cubed and make it a negative x cubed. That negative flips it the opposite way, where the left side now goes up, whereas the right side goes down. And this again translates to any odd powered function like x5 or x to the 7 power. Okay, so if you understand that, we can put this into action here. So here we go. On this problem right here, notice that it is a negative 6x cubed. What does an x cubed look like? It looks like this. What does a negative x cubed looks like? It looks like this. This is a negative x cubed, right? So as you can see, choice A, that's an even power. See how it opens down both ways? This one would be a positive x cubed of some sort. And this one is a regular quadratic or even powered function. So that's why the choice has to be A. Now, if you want some extra confirmation, guys, here's a neat little trick. Please remember this. One thing, again, you will be taught this, but when you look at this graph here, how do I know for sure this is the right graph is, why not plug 0 in for x? Because if you plug in 0 for these x's, you're just going to get that 2, right? So you see 0, 2 is what we call our y-intercept. Again, by plugging in 0 for x, guys, you will always find the y-intercept. And notice right there, guys, is 0.02. And so that further confirms that that's the right graph. So hopefully that made sense. Pause the video if you need to. So in this one here, guys, notice, let's start by plugging 0 in. Don't we get 0, 1? So now, they were very clever. See how all the graphs have a 0, 1 in them. So that didn't help much. So let's just go to what we talked about earlier. Notice that this is a x squared that's negative. Remember, an x squared looks like this, but a negative x squared looks like that. Notice that one's opening up. That's wrong. This looks good. This you should recognize as some form of a cubed or odd function. It could be like an x5 maybe, but most likely it's an x cubed. This one, hopefully you recognize as some form of negative x cubed. See how it wiggles up to the left and down to the right. That's a negative odd powered function. So long story short, that's why the answer's got to be B. Okay, let's do one more. Now this one's a little bit different because they gave us the zeros. So remember, guys, if they tell me a zero's at 4, guess what? I know one of my factors has got to be x minus 4 because 4 minus 4 is going to make it 0. Likewise, the negative 2 means x plus 2 is a factor because negative 2 plus 2 is 0. And finally, the 1, 0 tells me x minus 1 because 1 minus 1 is 0. So here's basically my answer. And so I'm looking for x minus 4, x plus 2, x minus 1, and it's choice A. If you look carefully, guys, see how they changed the sign on number C. If you look, same thing on B. See how they changed the sign right there? And that's the only way they can trick you on these guys, is they'll try to switch numbers around or change signs. So be careful about that. I wanted the x minus 4 in this case. I wanted the x plus 2, not an x minus 2. I wanted the x minus 1. Now, I think that's the last problem I have set up. Let me just check one more time. Oh, we have one more. So this will be the last one, guys. Notice it's a x4. Let's start there. A positive x4. Do you understand a positive x squared or x4 is going to open up like that? So as you can see, this is some form of a cube again. This one is opening up. This one has potential, B. This one, notice, is opening down on both ends. See that? So that one can't be right. This is a positive x4. It's got to open up like that again. And finally, if you look at D, see how it wiggles like an S again? That you should recognize as some form of an x cube or x5 again. So my only logical choice is got to be B. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, what about this wiggle or hump in the middle here? That's because, guys, this is not an x squared, but this is what happens when you have an x4 or a higher powered function. Okay? Now, we also could go in more detail and factor that and talk about that if you like. What the hell? Let's go ahead and do it. If I have 2x4 minus 4x squared, do you agree I can do a GCF of 2x squared? Right? And hopefully you understand that. So that leaves me x squared minus 2. Now, here's a key thing I want you to recognize. Follow the yellow right here. See how that's a positive 2x squared? Well, the x squared part tells me x equals 0 is a 0. The square, remember, means it's going to bounce. So notice right here, guys, in graph B, at 0, see how it went up, touched, and bounced back down again. So that's another way to confirm why the answer was B. Okay? And then, what about x squared minus 2? Well, follow the red here, guys. If x squared minus 2 equals 0, isn't x squared going to equal 2? And after I square root both sides, isn't x going to be positive or negative square root of 2? And right there is my 0 at positive square root of 2, also known as 1.414. And right over here on the left side, see how it crosses between negative 1 and negative 2 right there? That right there is my negative square root of 2, also known as negative 1.414. And so, hopefully all of this is making sense, guys. If there's anything you want to ask questions on, guys, please bring it up in class. I will stop whatever the heck I'm doing to make sure you understand this stuff. Okay? All I ask is you ask me because I can't read your mind. But that being said, guys, this is already a nice set of review problems on graphing with polynomials and understanding odd and even powered functions. See you later.